for her to give birth in the manger. I mean, it was like she was, really, really good child, ready to go. And as soon as they got to Bethlehem, into the stable they went, and she wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in the manger. But if we read the story from Luke, a little bit more carefully, there's lots going on there. So while they were there, it says here that he went to be registered with Mary, to whom he was engaged and who was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for her to deliver her child. So could have been that they got there like a month early. Wouldn't that make more sense? That you wouldn't wait till the last minute to get on the donkey and go there. So, yeah, makes more sense to me. And he went to be registered, and while they were there, the time came for her to deliver her child. She gave birth to her firstborn son, wrapped him in bands of cloth, and laid him in a manger. The reason that I'm not shooting holes in what you believe, it's just that sometimes that we tell the story in our own way that makes it make sense to us. And so we grab these stories about the angels and that they were there, and Herod and the Magi, and this year we didn't put the manger on there, but we were telling the story a little bit different. But it's just like the ways that we have come to celebrate this birth of the baby that's laying in a manger that looks probably about 2 here. But it's what we want to see. See, this is what our expectations are. Looks a lot like us, like a baby. That's all good. Joseph and Mary, the doting parents, that's what they should be. What we forget is that life does not exist in a vacuum, right? That stuff goes on around us all the time. And when we get this story, there were 2 real people that were traveling, and that were the angel of the Lord came to and told them what to do, and they all agreed to. But these are real human beings, and they have to get from here to there. And the birth story being told. How far is it from Nazareth to Bethlehem? Anybody know? Best guess? I know that's a bait because I know the answer to it. What do you say, Dr. Meyer? 6 miles? 75. It's 6 miles from Jerusalem to Bethlehem. And we're going to talk about that one. See, she's pretty close on that. She was reading my notes. She's like that, though. Okay, so they traveled. The travel to get there is about 75 miles, something like that. And that gets them up by Galilee down to Bethlehem. Bethlehem being 6 miles below Jerusalem. It's a little southeast. So 6 miles. So when the wise men show up, when the Magi show up, and we know the story of the wise men. They're these astrologers from Persian area or Babylonia or someplace that's out there that they're pagans. They're not Israelites. They're pagans. They're Gentiles. And Gentiles are kind of like we don't have anything to do with them. They're kind of special that everybody's there and nobody says anything bad about them being there, do they? The Pharisees and the scribes are there too. They come, everybody, and they want to know. They've been watching this cosmic event, this star rising. And they want to know, where is this person that's been born that is King of the Jews to somebody who's basically a nutcase. Because they said, that if you go back in history, what's been written about him, the person that they're asking this of, he killed 3 of his sons because he thought they were trying to usurp his throne. He killed 300 of his own people because he thought they were insurrection. Josephus writes about him in the 1st century and has a lot to say about him. One of the things that he did, he had his brother's wife put to death because he thought that the Pharisees. And he had those put to death too, a group of them, they don't know how many, because the Pharisees said that according to Scripture, Herod's brother's wife was going to take over his throne. So he just decided to do away with that threat too. He's crazy. He will do anything to keep his power on the throne. And when the wise men get there and ask him about this king of the Jews that's there, well, we can see this rage rolling up again inside him, and you can see, you know the rest of the story, that he sent them there under false pretenses, but they ended up going, and the story is for us is the one that we always remember. They got down, they worshiped, and then they went home another way, and Herod's furious, and now he will start again. The reason that this is kind of, I wanted the distance on there, it's 6 miles from where Jesus gave birth, or was born, where Mary gave birth to him, to Jerusalem. 6 miles. 7.1 kilometers, so it's not actually, it's a little bit shorter than there. 6 miles is not very far. Not far at all. In fact, the next one is, I think, the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Yeah, it's a mile and a half around that. So if you go around that 4 times, that's the distance between where Herod is and where Jesus is. Not far, is it? Pretty close. The next one's even more telling because I put this one on there. This is me. Uh-oh. That's okay. I stretched it, so don't worry about that. Yeah, this is what I do. 3 times a week, 6 miles. It's a route that I run. It takes 57 minutes. Okay? 6 miles. Doesn't take long to get there. Doesn't take long to get there. It's kind of amazing that on Christmas Day, here's a thought I want to put in your head. On Christmas Day, since we have a tendency to want to synthesize things, right? And kind of, I just want you to think about a couple of things. Life doesn't happen in a vacuum. And what did we read from the Luke story that we always read? That the angels were in their fields, watching their flock by night. And what happened? Angels. The glory of the Lord shined all around them. They were so afraid. And all of a sudden there was a company of heavenly hosts that joined in their praise. Do you think possibly this got back to here 6 miles, maybe? And what about the Pharisees? Because what else does Luke tell us? Luke tells us that the angels, that the shepherds were so impressed, they went and bowed down before him and went and told everybody. Everybody in the area was told about the fact that this Savior had been born, this event that had happened. What did Herod do on that night? Nothing. And the Pharisees didn't either. But I'm just wondering, as you might wonder, you think anybody might have heard about this? It's 6 miles. That's not far. And not only that, that the shepherds, that when Herod decides that he's going to get even with the kids that were born and make sure that the threat is eliminated, he went out into not just Bethlehem, but the districts around there as well. He knows where all these things are. You want to start something? Tell somebody a secret. Know what I mean? Yeah. Tell somebody a secret. How long do you think it'll take before it comes full circle back to you and it's, and it's magnified, changed, more over the top? It doesn't take long. People, the word of mouth is the best form of advertising, right? You want some people to get the message, you put it on Facebook, and there'll be a bunch of them that gets there. But maybe they won't. This one here has to do with what happened in Rick's mind. See, this is all speculation. Since we're synthesizing all the things that happened around the birth event, this birth event was great. It was big. It was huge. Heavenly hosts don't generally come down and shine all around the earth. Somebody noticed it. And somebody probably told Herod what the event was. This is just in Rick's mind. But it somehow didn't cause a ripple then. But now you've got these 3 wise men, or how many ever came, and now it makes a big deal. Now it makes a difference. Now there's something else that's going on in this. Kind of interesting, isn't it? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? We're going to touch on one other thing here in just a second too that I wonder about. But this is what I think happened to Herod and at the time. It's no big deal that he's apathetic. It doesn't matter. I've got a couple of quotes about that. One of the first one was, "The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but those who watch them, but by those who watch them without doing anything." That was Albert Einstein. Plato said the price of apathy is to be ruled by evil men. John Stott said, and he was a Christian writer, said apathy is the acceptance of the unacceptable. See, we're going there because of what happened with the children. Nobody said a word then either. Yeah, I mean, he gives the order to do this, see, and everybody thinks that this is okay. I was wondering about that too. The stories that we listened to today, the story of the Magi and all that, this is one we just love to tell every Christmas, but sometimes we don't think about the fact that this was a real event. This actually happened. And so Joseph ends up taking Jesus and headed down to Egypt, and then when Herod dies, he comes back and settles in the area. You know why he did it? Because Archelaus, his son, was ruling there, and so he kept on going up into to be called a Nazarene. He went up back home to Nazareth. And here's what we see. The Magi, on their way, when they found the place, the Bible tells us that in reading Matthew, that they rejoiced. They were overjoyed. Their joy led to worship. Herod's paranoia led to death and destruction. So the point of the whole thing is as we think about this, as we think about the story of the Magi and our own telling of the story each year that we might pass on to our kids, this might be something that we read to our children. Of course, we leave out the second half of this. We happen to be in Epiphany right now where everybody gets the idea that this person who came is actually Christ the Lord, the King of Kings, the Prince of Peace, the everlasting Father. Everything that we say about Christ is true. And even the pagans recognize this. So we're going to have to ask ourselves now that this event has happened, as we begin 2017, we're right here, right now, and so we're going to say, are we going to be apathetic about the fact that this happened? Is this going to be another year where we just say, there it is. That's what happened. That's good. Some didn't believe, some did. Or we want to take charge of this and maybe think about the people that's 6 miles from where we are. Who's in our radius that needs to hear this message? This child is a blessing to me, I can tell you that. Well, most of them are afraid to talk to me, but she's not. Maddie's not. That's that childlike faith that we talk about. But think about it, as you know, that I'm sure that Herod had the good news of the birth long before he sent the people, the Magi showed up. I'm convinced of that. I think when the Magi showed up, that was just an indication that now I got to do something. And to take care of all the kids 2 years and under. But I think and I could be way off base with this because the Bible doesn't say that, but I don't think anything happened that people don't hear about. Get picked up for shoplifting and see who knows about it. You see what I mean? Yeah. I don't think that you can have secrets like that. So this is just me. But I want to know that if this faith of yours causes you to rejoice, causes you to rebel and go back and buy another road, causes you to say, this faith is really important to me, and we want to pass this on and give it to somebody else, then we got to think about this 6 mile thing. We got and really do it in a way that's important. Who's around us? Let's go half that distance. Who's 3 miles from us that needs to hear the message? The reason that we do this is because we want to share our faith. Our faith means so much to us that we want to share it with others. And there are some people that's heard this idea, that they've heard about the fact that Christ was born. But do they know the story? Do they know the story? And do they need a faith community like this to fall back upon when things aren't going all that good for them? I think they do. I think that there are people around us that we walk by all the time that are apathetic, that don't care about anything. And then there are some that like us, that we care about everything, we're just not sure the best way to go about it. So as we start this 2017 year and start to figure out what we're going to do, where we're going to go, how we're going to share this faith, how Christ would have us go to the places where we need to go to, and not be afraid. Listen to this angel of the Lord, this voice speak to us. Where will we go? What will we do? I think it's going to be a terrific year this year. I think that we are going to do amazing things here as far as community involvement and even opening the doors of the church. And there's going to be people sitting in here every Sunday, and I'm hoping that every Sunday that we have people that we don't know. They just come here because they've heard. They've heard. Because nothing happens in a vacuum. Not only that, from Bethlehem to Jerusalem, it's only 6 miles. It's only 6 miles. Get that word out. Get the word out. I think that great things and great joy will be had this year, and I think that we will see the joy of new faith and new friendships and new relationships blossom in ways that we have not even considered. We go to our prayer time today. We think about the people that's on our worship bulletin, on our list, and there are many there. There's some joys that we've added to that because I think that we need to celebrate